Southern Lebanon stands at a crossroad. A region long defined by conflict and geopolitical tension is now in the spotlight of a bold new vision from Washington. The Trump administration's latest strategy aims to reshape the region's equation by transforming southern Lebanon into a special economic zone. Positioned along the Israeli border, this zone is being touted as a beacon of development: roads, ports, new industries. This plan seeks to reduce Hezbollah's military and political power and fortify U.S. influence in a historically volatile area. But beneath the surface of this seemingly economic initiative lie deeper strategic motives. A geopolitical chess game, once that could redefine power dynamics across the Middle East. As the international community watches closely, the question remains: what are Washington's real intentions behind pushing this economic zone in southern Lebanon? Welcome to In Depth. Well, welcome back. The Trump administration has urged Israel to reduce non-urgent military actions in Lebanon to support the Lebanese government's unprecedented plan to disarm Hezbollah, according to Axios. Since the Israel-Hezbollah ceasefire in November, Israel has continued nearly daily airstrikes, claiming they target Hezbollah threats, while Lebanon condemns the violations. Israel also maintains 5 military outposts in southern Lebanon, citing security concerns. The U.S. has proposed that Israel withdraw from one outpost and pause airstrikes temporarily to help Lebanon gain credibility in disarming Hezbollah by 2025. U.S. envoy Tom Barak has been negotiating a phased approach, including an economic zone in southern Lebanon to prevent Hezbollah's return. Recent talks in Paris show cautious Israeli openness to cooperation, recognizing Lebanon's historic cabinet decision.
The Trump administration's latest initiative to establish a special economic zone in southern Lebanon represents a strategic attempt to reshape the complex Middle East equation. By focusing on economic and political reforms in this volatile region, Washington aims to significantly reduce Hezbollah's influence while simultaneously diffusing long-standing tensions with Israel without requiring an ongoing military occupation. Geographically, the proposed economic zone covers strategically sensitive border areas, benefiting from proximity to both Lebanese government-controlled territories and Israeli borders. Politically, it signifies an attempt to curtail Hezbollah's sway by fostering government-led or international economic initiatives. A critical component of this strategy includes Washington's recent diplomatic pressure on Israel to reduce its airstrikes over southern Lebanon. This request signals that the U.S. does in fact hold considerable leverage over Israel, its key ally, leveraging that influence to mitigate military escalations that could threaten broader regional stability. U.S. envoy Tom Barak has been in active negotiations with Israeli officials, including Strategic Affairs Minister Ron Dermer and diplomat Morgan Ortagus, seeking Israeli agreement on phased withdrawals contingent upon Lebanese government action against Hezbollah. While discussions are progressing, no final decisions have been made yet. Despite the apparent progress, skepticism remains widespread, given Hezbollah's outright rejection of the disarmament directive and doubts about Lebanon's capacity to enforce it. Is Washington's push for an economic zone truly a path to lasting peace and stability, or is it a strategic maneuver to reshape regional power dynamics under the guise of economic development?
Right, today we analyze the Trump administration's ambitious plan to create a special economic zone in southern Lebanon. To help us unpack the layers of this complex issue, we have with us Mr. Dan Renee, a political researcher from Washington, and Professor Michel Shmai, a political researcher and analyst from Beirut. We thank you both, gentlemen, for being with us. And let me start here with Mr. Renee. And Mr. Renee, what are the key U.S. strategic interests behind positioning this zone along the Israeli border?
Well, again, and thank you so much for the opportunity here. It is incredibly interesting and I think a great idea here to look at this situation through a different perspective, not just through the military lens. And reducing violence, reducing death, reducing destruction is something that President Trump has decided that is going to be a focal point of his presidency. And so having this smart mix of reducing the tensions of the military strikes while creating a longer term opportunity shows that not only is the U.S. serious in lowering the temperature in the short term, but instead investing in a new reality to bring stability to the region. And when people start to see the Lebanese government start to deliver jobs, start to deliver growth and economic opportunity, it's going to undercut the influence of militias like Hezbollah that thrive on this instability. So it's not just about economics. It's about giving the Lebanese state the tools it needs to stand up and to strengthen its own sovereignty. Prosperity is the best way to do that. And so by having more prosperity, by having more economic opportunity and less military intervention, it's going to show that the Lebanese government can provide for its people and deliver jobs and growth and reduce the threat of violence in the region.
Right. Professor Shmai, what is your analysis to Trump's plan to establish a special economic zone in southern Lebanon?
Yeah, we are entering a new step and a totally different world, away from the conflict, away from the war, because we suffered a lot for conflicting ideologies. So the world now is facing an economic plan, and I guess this plan is positive because if the economic is powerful, we will have a different atmosphere for the people around us. We are now talking about something positive. We are talking about a future that is full of growth, because the people like Hezbollah, they are just talking about Allah, but they do not have any idea about the religion. But now we are thinking about the economy. We are thinking about an economic zone that will help the people into the country again and will help them to find new jobs, to earn their living, and to start a new life. So this is an opportunity that we will achieve through this economic zone without any dangers for the people who are living in Lebanon and in zone. So this matter for Lebanon people is a kind of growth for us, so that we can turn to a future that is full of growth and to have an economic flourishment into Lebanon.
Right. Mr. Renee, why do you think the U.S. wants to reduce Israeli military operations there now? And does this mean that the U.S. has a kind of leverage over Israel?
Well, it comes to the fact of everyone wants to see an end to the violence. Everyone wants to see an end to the destruction, and we've proven, I guess, over and over again that violence and more military action doesn't necessarily solve these military conflicts, but what does solve them is prosperity and economic growth. And so that's why I think that we've seen the Lebanese government come back with, I believe that Tom Barak described their response to this proposal as spectacular, because there's genuine interest in making this work. And, I don't think it's necessarily just leverage that the United States has with Israel, that, like you asked here, but it really is a sincere desire to bring about an end to the fighting and bring about an end to the destruction.
But
This
that
isn't
goes,
about.
but
Yeah,
that
go ahead.
goes against the will of Israel. So we're speaking here about the U.S. having a leverage over Israel and prioritizing or putting in the forefront this economic zone, right?
Well, I think that both can be true at the same time. I mean, the fact of the matter is that the Lebanese leadership is going to take ownership of the process, and Israel is going to want to not just accept the terms or accept direction, but at the same time, if the threat is no longer there, if the Lebanese government is able to go through with the disarming of Hezbollah to stop them from being able to thrive in an instability style of operating, well, there'd be no reason to have an additional military conflict. So the
Yes.
fact of the matter is no one really wants war. No one wants a military conflict, but everyone wants security and everyone wants economic prosperity. So the fact of the matter is we can bring that in and bring in other nations as well, like France, Saudi Arabia, Qatar. They're all looking to find a way to invest in this reconstruction and infrastructure. So this is bigger than security. This is bigger than military. This is about economic prosperity.
So I think this is a win-win situation here. Professor
For
Shamai, yes. Professor Shamai, what geographical and political significance does the proposed economic zone hold?
Politically speaking, if we achieve and build up this economic zone, we will end the conflict on the borders of South Lebanon with the north of Israel or Palestine. And now this is a kind of a proposed solution, since this is a solution for the geopolitical problem since 18 years. But geographically speaking, if we are talking about this zone, this zone will be full of growth, and we will start a new lives again, and we will provide people opportunities to earn their living after having military processes. And now we are having a zone full of destruction. Now we can refill this zone with growth and economic prosperity. And right now it's no man's land. Now we are trying to find economic opportunities to transfer this land from no land to land full of growth and economic prosperity without any foreign help. Now we can have
What
this
do you
leap.
mean? What do you mean by it's no man land?
Regarding the lands that is in South Lebanon, because of the war, now no one is living there. It's no man is living there, is living there, and we need years and years to have people live in this place. Now, if we transfer this land to an economic zone, we will have people who want and have the desire to live there, to find opportunities, to have jobs, to continue their lives there. And now we are trying to have life again on this land without any help from other countries. And now we will have a new life there in the southern Lebanon, because whenever we are having this network, we will have opportunities and full of prosperity and economic activities. And now we are having a world that is full of power, not through ideology, but through economic prosperity and economic power. And under the authority of Hezbollah, we need to put an end for this war. We need to put an end for the destruction there into this zone.
And maybe you will, or the Lebanese people will be able to regain their own lands and return to it. After that, we'll get back to that. Let me go here to Mr. Renee. Mr. Renee, what role does U.S. envoy Tom Barak play in facilitating cooperation between Israel and Lebanon on this issue?
Right. I think that what we're seeing is really classic diplomacy, and it's fascinating to watch how this is unfolding. We're seeing both pressure and opportunity simultaneously. And so it shows that Barack and American leadership can kind of push its allies as well as pushing its adversaries toward compromise without sacrificing any credibility from one side or the other in the region. And investing in these mutually beneficial solutions are exactly what's needed. Because again, the violence and the fighting, the death and destruction are of no benefit to anyone, but prosperity that benefits a region that has not seen it in a very long time will make it a much more unattractive target for Israel, because the Hezbollah army will not be able to thrive in such instability. And so what we're seeing here is
The,
setting the stage, this diplomacy,
uh,
for real long-term investment in the region, and it's fantastic.
do you think he might be able to convince Israel to retreat from places or lands they occupied?
I think that indeed that if these economic zones start to produce the type of prosperity and economic opportunity that prevents the ability for Hezbollah to operate and thrive, then there'd be no reason for Israel to be there anyway. So the fact of the matter is that we will now have a situation where Israel will have no incentive or need to go out there to protect its own interests in the region, because the economic interests are protecting themselves. They won't have a threat to experience anymore.
Right.
So that type of pressure that they're going to feel is one where it's not only pressure to reduce the tensions in the region and lower the temperature, but also to help to prevent and invest in their own security moving forward too. It's a win-win.
Right. Professor Shmai, what are the main obstacles that the Lebanese government faces in enforcing the disarmament of Hezbollah?
We are having different decisions, and we are having decisions from the government to disarmament for Hezbollah, and this is a kind of obstacle for us to end the war there, so that we can have political progress, because they are having ideological mindset that is different from the parties around us, and now they are trying to achieve the goal of Allah. They are proposing such a thing, and if you are talking about that, or you are trying to convince them from another perspective, we cannot handle the discussion with them. We are trying to have a vision that is a democratic vision, that we can reach a solution with them. Till now, Hezbollah cannot have a logical dialogue with all the parties, and they are refusing the decisions. And the target is to reach a conflict, ideological conflict between the state and between the other countries. And now we are having this kind of conflict to have war and war, and to have the target of Allah that they are proposing, and to have the weapons illegally into the state to defend their ideology. And this is a principle that is totally mistake, and this is danger for all the parties around them. Until now, we cannot have a disarmament for Hezbollah because of their ideology, because they do not have the culture or the mindset to negotiate. They just have a target they want to achieve. They need to have a belief that they have the state of Lebanon, and they have to end the war to be able to, and to let the Lebanon government to reach the stability into the state. So we do not have this negotiation with them. Till now, they are refusing the state of Lebanon, and till now they refuse that they are having this loyalty to Lebanon. So the General Secretary there refused this totally, and they are having the negotiation with Iran. Till now, they are having the mindset of Iran, and they are negotiating, and they are having different ideology. Till now, they are having any loyalty to the state of Lebanon. So it's just a part of a huge Islamic republic that is the source of it is Iran. This is terrible for us. Why? Because we cannot change this. This is a kind of perspective, and this is unreality. Now, the question is, how can they return to Lebanon and have their loyalty to Lebanon? This is impossible for us, because they are seeking to the interest of Iraq. Till now, unfortunately, they are not seeking peace. They are not seeking peace or stability into the country, and they cannot have loyalty and belonging to the state of Lebanon. And this is the hugest and biggest obstacle in front of our government decisions. And this will push the government to apply the decisions to have a disarmament for Hezbollah, and now we do not have any expectations for what is coming.
Right, Mr. Renee, we spoke about a win-win situation or a win for all. What benefits does Washington expect from establishing this economic zone, and what prompted the Trump administration to propose this project at this very, very delicate time?
Well, it comes down to a desire, a sincere desire to find a pathway to end the conflict. And there is no ending of this conflict that is going to come from a military solution. And so by allowing and encouraging the Lebanese army to step up and to give the Lebanon security to put that in the hands of the country of Lebanon will reduce that vacuum of leadership that Hezbollah has exploited for decades now. And so as Lebanon can prove that it can protect its people, there's less room for the extremist groups like Hezbollah to justify their role. So they're strengthening Lebanon from within, which then reduces the need for additional types of operations by Israel. So this isn't just words at a summit. This isn't just an abstract plan. This is economic growth and coordination that looks like real peace building to me. And so by having these practical, not necessarily theoretical conversations, we're seeing opportunities to reduce violence, to reduce death and destruction, and try to find a lasting peace in the region that makes it tangible and a win, again, for everyone involved, including the United States, that doesn't have to get involved in these ongoing conflicts. So,
But then,
again, having economic growth and diplomatic coordination is a win.
But then beside this strategic benefit, what does the U.S. itself, what will it gain from such an issue?
Well, lots of things, really. I mean, it comes from by having more stability in that region and in showing that American leadership is back. It will encourage not only economic momentum for that region and reduce the violence, but having American leadership as being something as credible throughout the world is going to be an excellent opportunity, and finding more ways for. I mean, we're already seeing other countries that are already lining up to invest in the region. I'm sure that the United States would be one of them too. Economic investment opportunity not only benefits Lebanon and the Lebanese people, but it's going to benefit the other investors that are out there when we're seeing more prosperity in the region. Prosperity lifts up everyone.
Yes, indeed. I'm pretty sure of that. Professor Shumai, how does Hezbollah perceive this plan or this development, and are they responding through political channels or public messaging? What are they doing?
Any suggestion that the U.S. government will propose regarding the to Hezbollah is a kind of this is a kind of conflict for them. They will refuse any suggestion from the U.S. because they notice that U.S. supports the ideology of Israel. They do not look at the interests. They do not need any interest. They just look at the Israeli people or occupation forces and U.S. As enemies. For that reason, they are having this mindset. They are our enemies, and we will refuse any kind of suggestion from our enemies. Until now, they do not have any kind of support for them because they are having the support from Iran. Till now, they do not want any kind of negotiation from have stability into the zone, so that they can reach to the disarmament for Hezbollah in the state of Lebanon. And now this will give the opportunity for the state of Lebanon to have diplomacy and to have democracy and to have the power to stand against Hezbollah that is supported through Iran. And as I said before, this is a kind of decision that is strategic to this is a kind of a threat for Hezbollah. And if U.S. Department will not have pressure upon Hezbollah and to have sanctions on Hezbollah or on Iran, Iran will continue its support, military support to Hezbollah, to have a pressure on the U.S. to end this and to continue the conflict in the state of Lebanon. And this is what they are targeting at the end. So I don't think that Hezbollah will have the ability to achieve any target, but they are trying to delay any kind of suggestion and to delay any project that will be achieved in Lebanon so that they can gain the time, and this will impact negatively upon the performance of the Lebanon government and the economic of Lebanon. And the government and the economy of the state now is deteriorated and need the chance to reflourish again. So we are trying to have any kind of opportunity to stand against them.
Right. Mr. Renee, how does this initiative fit within Washington's broader Middle East strategy?
Well, again, if we can start to eliminate threats and find a way toward prosperity in that region, if we can have a Lebanon that is no longer just dependent on aid, that can attract real investments and create jobs and really just starve the groups like Hezbollah of an opportunity to operate. By eliminating threats in the region, we're going to see more prosperity. We're going to see more opportunities for growth and frankly, more opportunities for peace. I mean, if this action can economically prevent Hezbollah from reestablishing itself in southern Lebanon, it's going to grow. These good areas will overtake bad areas once people start to see that there is more benefit from having jobs and income and stability than it is to have violence and bombs. So, by continuing this disarmament of Hezbollah and starving them of an opportunity to operate will help the United States, continue to find pathways toward peace in the region overall. And it sends a powerful message that the United States and its leadership, especially Donald Trump, is very interested in finding a pathway toward peace, very interested in finding a pathway toward eliminating terrorism and finding a way to end the violence. That's in the U.S.'s best interest. It's in the world's best interest.
Right. Professor Shemai, if I may get back to you here, and I totally understand your point of view here of being locked from one side by Hezbollah and all those obstacles, and from the other side by this plan of initiating this economic zone. But let me here ask you, aren't there any kind of fears that this zone may become a foreign influenced enclave, and that Lebanon or Israel would be operating or making its operation under the protection or under the U.S. influence?
Absolutely. I don't think that if we are having a new state of Lebanon, we will have our power to have a policy, to have policies and to have our own politics. Because if we are having an economy that is flourished and to have the power to have suggestions and to have discussions with other states, we will have our own control once more. We need our control under the control of the Lebanon government. Now we will not have any fears to have a foreign influence upon our state, because we will have the economic zone as an opportunity for investment and to have partnerships with other countries. And this is a chance for us to have economic prosperity and to have our own power to stand against any kind of a threat. Because if we are having any kind of influence, we will stand against this influence if it is negative or against our state. Now we will have our own power, and we will have the competition, and we will have opportunities to build up new networks with other countries. And that's what we are seeking for, because this matter for us will secure jobs and opportunities for the people to have renaissance into the zone and to have a new life into the region, and especially the south of Lebanon, because
Right.
this zone suffered for
Right. Very
years
clear.
because of conflict.
Very clear, Professor Shemai, and we thank you both, Mr. Dan Renay and Professor Michel Shemai, for this insightful discussion. And definitely, we all hope for the best ever future for Lebanon, and definitely for Israel to lessen its strikes and get out of those posts or occupied posts in Lebanon, as today's discussion shows the U.S. economic zone plan in southern Lebanon could pivot the regional balance or deepen divisions. We'll see. That concludes today's episode of In Depth. Many thanks for joining us, and stay tuned for more updates on Qnews.